Hey, it's that guy who draws things. It's also that guy whose voice you haven't heard in a year. So this is gonna be awkward for the both of us. Don't worry. Um, just like it says in the title, I'm gonna talk about what happens after Secret of the Mimic. I think the ending where the Mimic leaves Arnold to die and then leaves the MCM with Arnold's data diver is the real ending. But we don't really see what happens after that. Obviously, in Ruin, we see, you know, Fazbear Entertainment brought the Mimic down into the Pizzaplex, and then later, Gregory and Vanessa would leave it in like some underground area in the Pizzaplex. But we don't see how Fazbear, got the Mimic. In the ending, I said earlier, the Mimic, leaves Arnold to die, and then, just walks away in the road. The other Fazbear, the only other people who had anything to do with Fazbear, who knew Arnold was there, was Dispatch and Fazbear itself. Uh, so I think Fazbear would have obviously noted that Arnold was gone, and then I think at first they would have sent like maybe just like one team to get everything, but then they would send more as they realize that the mimic isn't there and everything's on fire, so they need to get everything quickly. And I think while they were doing that, and while they were maybe like driving back on the road, they would find the mimic at some point. And with all the Fazbear teams there, they would have tried to taken it and leave. But you're probably wondering how would they have been able to catch this rampaging murder robot? Here's the thing. I don't know if this is something Edwin programmed or just something that it's doing because it's trying to find you, but the mimic can be lured by sound. We see that in the game. If it is something Edwin programmed, then Fazbear also would have, had to figure that out because of the spring lock suits. I think this would be the moment they figure that out. Maybe they had something that made noise and just like threw it somewhere and then trapped it. Uh, I think there's no point in having that many details just to know how they trapped it. But whatever. And another thing in the books, we know Fazbear made a bunch of mimics, but then stopped. But the mimic is like it's like one of a kind. Like Fazbear needed Arnold and all those other teams to get the mimic because they couldn't just remake it. So how come they can just make a bunch, years later? I mean, if I had to guess, I mean, I'd probably say like maybe the mimic had like a gadget or something that has its blueprints. But I mean, that'd be stupid. It'd be cool, but that'd be stupid. I mean, there's absolutely no way. Yeah. So the mimic takes Arnold's data diver. The thing that has the mimic's blueprints. Uh, so I guess that's how Fazbear made a bunch of mimics. Uh, so looks like we solved how Secret Mimic connects to the FNAF lore. And there's no more mysteries. Bye. Okay. So there's still another thing to solve. How how does the mimic mimic William in the current timeline? The mimic is mimicking William, but in Secret of the Mimic he isn't. Uh, but don't worry, because I'm gonna solve that in a different video. But I'm gonna try to make that video soon. Uh, but don't hold me to that. Okay, bye.